Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to The Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. Welcome to part 2 of turning all of your L's into lessons. So this is part 2 from last week, episode 101. In 2020, I still wasn't out of the life coach closet. People who I met in masterminds I had been in as a creative entrepreneur for Who's That Housewife were all really interested in how I achieve such amazing press like BuzzFeed and People, and how I'm able to have a 6-figure business without running any ads. They were asking me for advice for their own PR opportunities, and they would ask how to navigate that. So I decided to create a group coaching program. I called it Captivate. I think my tagline was to know how to generate your own PR in 10 minutes a day. I was teaching them this whole system that I used, and they were also going to get my help so they could get on any fucking podcast they wanted to. They would have me in their back pocket during the length of Captivate. I had a private Google Doc invitation I made for each person. It was special. It was how I do anything, like super luxury, super high end, and no one fucking bought it. P.S. These were all people that were making multiple 6 figures, if not millions, in their business. It's not one of those things where like they couldn't afford it. What did I price this at? $500. That's what it was total for the whole program. These were all people that I knew. This was not like strangers. It was natural. It wasn't like, hey, here's my thing, buy it. It was amazing. And no one bought it. No one. And I was so sad and so mad. This is one of my tools, by the way. What does this failure mean? What I made it mean, it was a waste. I'm not meant to do this. I don't have any value. That crushed me. And part of the reason why it crushed me was because I had not made clear boundaries with myself. I hadn't said that I am unauthorized to talk to myself that way anymore. From now on, I am unauthorized to call myself a waste of space. I'm like, hey, I hear you, but like we don't do name calling. Something that I see happen a lot when people are like, my brain's an asshole. You're stooping to their level of, well, you're this, you're an asshole. It's like, no. I use this example with my clients a lot. Would you just be like, yeah, my kid's an asshole, and not parent them? When the teacher called, yeah, I'm sorry, my kid's an asshole. No, you wouldn't do that. You would be like, oh, sorry, we're working on this. You wouldn't just give up. So like, don't do that to yourself. Raise your own internal standard with how you're going to speak to yourself. If you have a habit of treating yourself like shit, it's going to take some time to break it. I treated myself, it reminds me of like the Little Rascals, like scum between my toes. That's the way I treated myself. And another fallacy of failure that I want to break up. We think we need to be really hard on ourselves because that's how we learn. And it's not. It's really not. This is my analogy for you. You could pee in your plants and maybe they grow that way. There's some water in there. Or you could put alkaline water in your plants and you could miss them. Which one's going to thrive? The plants that you don't pee in. You're like, yeah, I just pee in them. That's what you're doing to yourself when you are just fixating on your failures. You don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. Another tool for yourself in the moment is forgive yourself and just be like, yeah, this happened. Oops, wasn't what I planned for. Maggie Reyes, who is a friend and a wonderful, wonderful marriage life coach, she has something called a do-over that I just think is incredible. When you say something or you do something and you're like, that's not really like what I wanted to be doing, or that wasn't my best self. Like, let's say you yelled at your kid or you sent off an email to your team that was like pretty heated and you couldn't unsend it. You can give yourself a do-over at any point in time. You can just decide, hey, I'm going to do this over. And you can even tell them like, hey, I don't really like the way that went. So can we do a do-over here? They're going to say yes. Nobody says no. Then you can just decide this is the way that we're moving, like going forward. Another tool for you that's so amazing in the moment when you're like, oh, fuck, I failed. All these feelings are coming up and you just want to go hide is you want to ask yourself, what am I making this mean? Get really honest. Don't just do it in your head. That's like floating turds. We want to flush the toilet, which is you want to write it out. Pen and paper, write it out. Ask yourself, what am I making this failure mean? For me, with that group coaching example, I'm making it mean I'm not good enough. No one wants what I have to offer, that I'm doomed. I thought I was a piece of shit. I thought all this work had been for nothing. That's one thing that my brain loves to give me. We could have just been going to the beach for a month. When you don't get the result you were going for, or you mess up, a lot of times it actually brings to the surface the way that you really feel about it. What it brought to the surface was I didn't actually want to be teaching anybody PR. I didn't want to be doing it. I did it because I was giving people what they wanted. I was operating under the paradigm of being who everyone else wanted me to be. I was being a good little tugboat. I was being the good girl. I was taking my 20 years of experience and working with Taylor Swift and all of these A-list people and for companies hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. I was taking what everyone else said were my best qualities and what I was good at and what I should be doing. Stay in your lane, CLG. I was doing that, but that's not actually what I wanted to do. That is not actually my life's purpose. That is not actually what I am best at. Those are just the angles that I was allowed to play in. It was like, if you know that you are meant to be a sculptor and they've only been giving you watercolors and you're really good at watercolors, but you're like, you know what? I'm fucking Michelangelo over here. I can do some stuff with clay and stone. I can be a mixed media artist. What that really brought up for me is I realized I was like, I don't want to do this. I also had a lot of resentment because I was like, $500? All these people spend more than that on shoes in a week at least. That's like their monthly Starbucks. To all my human design hotties, my conscious sun is 42, gate of growth, increase. Your conscious sun is your life's work. For me, it's helping you grow, helping people grow, see through the illusions. And my conscious earth is 32, which is perseverance. And the fear of failure is the fear that goes with it. Your conscious earth is grounding and what will be the lesson for your entire life. My earth, the fuel that propels me and that I help others with, is that fear of failure. If you're a perfectionist, I can't look at my mistakes. I can't even say the word failure or finding that activating within you. There is a reason why you are listening to this, and I am 100% the coach for you. I know intimately what this is like. I'm over here in the real world with you. Real fucking human, 99 problems. Calling myself a failure is not one of them. It's no longer debilitating anymore. In fact, everyone in my mastermind always talks about how they're like, we love your post, CLG, because there's so much insight. We learned so much. And it's literally bringing all my shit to the table. This is what happened, but this is what I learned. And it's why I'm able to grow so fast. Before you're going to go into anything new, ask yourself, what am I willing to experience? And not, I'm willing to experience 1,000 people congratulating me. No, it's like, I'm willing to experience shame. I'm willing to experience disappointment. I'm willing to experience people thinking that I'm too much. You do this anyway, you just don't realize it. When you go to the grocery store, you're telling yourself, I'm willing to experience red lights. I'm willing to stop for pedestrians that are walking, even when they're not in the crosswalk. You're willing to do all of that. So do that for yourself as you go on this journey. The other question to ask yourself is, how am I going to choose to treat myself if this doesn't work out? Go there. Decide ahead of time. I take it to both places. This is how I'm going to celebrate myself when this happens. And when it doesn't, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make space for myself. I'm going to be there with myself and I'm going to let myself feel all those feelings. I'm going to let that be okay. I plan for it, not like I'm planning for a failure, but just knowing that if this happens, this is how I'm going to treat myself, because then you make a deal with yourself. The temptation used to be, how could you do this? This is the worst. What is everyone going to think about you? Like all of that would come flooding in, but then I'd be like, oh, no, wait, pause, power pause. Oh, I already decided how I'm going to choose to talk to myself and how I'm going to choose to treat myself. It really, really helps to do it ahead of time, because when emotions are high, intelligence is low. So when you are in that activated place, which all of you, everyone who listens is a high achiever, type A, it's uncomfortable. You don't want to be there. Like you don't want to be there. Even now, I'm not like, yes, I would choose. Well, actually, I would say
I have learned the hard way that when everything does go perfectly, like it did for my first business, making 6 figures within 6 months, it made it a rough fucking road. And everyone who has children understands this. Like when your first kid is a dream and there are no issues and everything is just perfect and they're sleeping through the night and they're just like literally angel baby. Then when you have other kids and they're not, it's a rude awakening. You feel like a first-time parent because you're like, I never went through this with all the other kids. Versus when your first kid is a little beast, didn't sleep for the first 9 months, colic and didn't eat anything, and maybe they had a hernia. They had all this stuff that like happened. Then when you have your other children, it's like, oh, this is smooth sailing. Oh, I got this. You have that resilience. You have that tenacity been developed. Tool number 5 is to look for the lesson. Say, how could this be true that this is a lesson? What am I going to choose to extract from this? The value is always there. It's just up to you whether or not you're going to choose to extract it. There are so many treasures underneath that soil in your backyard. It's up to you to choose to excavate them. So I want you to choose to excavate it. Decide you are in this for the long haul. Decide that you are no longer quitting on yourself, that you are in devotion to what it is that you want to bring into the world, and that you believe in your capacity. If you don't believe in your capacity, you can borrow my belief. I believe in you. And most importantly of all, don't forget this part, make it fucking fun. The joy is in the journey. Make it playful. And if you want help with this, I am the coach for you. Like, if you've made it to this far in the episode, there is a reason for that.
If you're nodding your head yes, listen closely because I might have the solution you've been searching for. My Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, a 6-week, highly individualized one-on-one coaching experience designed exclusively for perfectionists like you. In Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, you are centering your identity on your possibilities instead of your limitations. I've done the hard work and taken out the guesswork to give you frameworks backed by neuroscience, proven to work even for the most type A, high-strung, stubborn, control freak perfectionists. In the first 30 days, you'll possess a quiet confidence, so secure in yourself and your achievements. Your self-compassion will go up at least 250%. So if you want to save yourself years of trial and error, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator today, or just click the link in the show notes to check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator.